All right, so this is a longer version of the short that I did just a few minutes ago about pot roast. Okay, so what I have done so far is taken a chuck roast, nice, I think 3.5, 4 pound chuck roast. I tenderized it with this, and you can beat it with a hammer to mallet, whatever. I mean, don't go into your tool chest and break out your nasty hammer. But this works very well. You know, when you push down, the blades come out, and it tenderizes it because chuck roast traditionally is a very tough cut of meat, hence why it's used for pot roast. Handled correctly, though, you could actually make this really tender on a grill. That's for another video. Anyways, so what I have done is tenderized it. I have put the seasoning on it, which consisted of onion powder, garlic powder, some Worcestershire sauce, pepper, and some Kinder's dry aged steak. And as I said in the short, I am going to do a video in the near future of how to dry age a steak at home. And I can tell you it makes a huge, it can take an ordinary steak from your local grocery store. I don't generally buy meat from a grocery store. I order it from wildfork.com, or I go to Trader Joe's, or I go to Whole Foods. I also have a couple local markets. They're not chains. They're locally owned. They're called Thrifty Market. There's 3 of them in the area, and I believe only 2 of them are actually associated. One is called the same thing, but owned by different people, and they're specialty markets, and they have great produce, great things. Very hard to find items that normally you'd have to order. So it's try to find that local area. Find little hidden gems in your area where you can get unique flavors. There's Asian markets here. There's Hispanic markets here. There's Indian markets here. And here in but Brevard County, which is, no offense, pretty backwoods. So, so we've prepared the pot roast thus far. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is take a large vacuum bag and attempt to put this in without making a giant flipping mess. And I'm rarely successful in not making a big mess when I'm cooking. My girlfriend hates that, which is interesting because she doesn't cook or clean. So, but she also works full time. I don't. So, I am retired. I was retired when I got cancer, and it was proven to be service related. Gave me 100% day disability, and I also get SSDI. So. I don't need to work. so I cook and clean and do all my things. So we take this vacuum sealer bag and we vacuum seal it. So, which is over there off camera. So I'm just gonna put the beef off to the side. Now what we're gonna do, I'm still here, I promise, is we have our insert for our slow cooker. Even if this was in a nice place, sealed away, rinse it out real good. I did prior to the video. I'm getting better, I promise. So, what I'm going to do here is I have onion that I used a couple days ago, half of it. And don't throw away the pieces. Just save them. You know, you can use them. And then take like the peelings and put them into a compost. You can get a kitchen compost container, airtight seal, and then once a week or every 2 days, go out to your compost bin. And if you don't have a big garden, if there's any plants that in your yard, compost, recycle. It's super easy, super simple. Use it. So, something I want to go into real quick is knife skills. And I see this a lot, and I blame the Food Network partially for this because they don't really go into it. Once in a while they do, not very often, but I'm not a big Food Network fan. It's too gimmicky, it's too fake. The chefs you see on the Food Network, they're celebrity chefs. I'm not a fan of Bobby Flay at all. He's very fake. He's not that good. If he and I were to get into a sausage making competition, I would bury him. And then I watch his Bobby's Barbecue Throwdown. They don't know the difference between grilling, barbecue, and smoking. They misreference it constantly, which tells me they don't know what the hell they're doing. So, and of course, Bobby's got his girlfriend on that show as a judge. So, anyways, and you may have heard this, maybe not. A dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. 100% true. Okay. I went through a lot of knife skills training in culinary school, and I tell you, watching other people use knives scares the shit out of me. So, let's see if I'm getting closer so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Because from there, you can't. So I'm just trying to get in close in so you're not looking at my stomach. So, an onion, for example. How you want to grip a knife is on both sides. Okay, like this. Now, for an onion, for instance, and always keep your knuckles. So what I want to do is keep my knuckles like this. Okay? And slice in. Now, for example, with the dull knife being a more dangerous scenario, had I done that and that been a dull knife, I would have had to push harder, which could have caused, a pressure release at some point in this, like maybe I hit a soft spot and go thunk, and I would have taken the skin right off my knuckles. Okay? So a sharp knife, and keep your knuckles, your hand like this, because even if you do slip, you're going to hit knuckle and not take off a finger. Okay, so I've done that. Now, I'm going to gently push down and away. Down and away. Okay? Very simple. And I just made a mistake. I should keep my thumb like this as well, not out here. So, and now we're going to do the same thing. Now with this motion, I'm going to go forward. Down and forward. Down and forward. Down and forward. Down and forward. Okay, then I'm going to turn it. Down and forward. Over and over. Then you get to the little bits. Flip it again. And there. That's it. I'm not going super duper fast. You see people on the food network. Don't do that, please. Even if you are a trained chef. At some point, you will make a mistake and get your finger. We all do at some point, but I still have all the fingers. So, if you don't have a bench scraper, you use the back of the knife, not the sharp side, the back, and just scrape it off. Because if you do use the sharp side, you're going to dull that thing out in no time. Now, this is a Henkel knife. It's not the top of the line. It's not but it's still it was, I think, like $175. It was a gift. I didn't buy it. Pretty much all the knives in my knife block here are Henkel. These are two Japanese butcher knives. Henkel, Wüsthof. Two great. Now, you don't have to have those because they are a couple $100 a piece. Hold on, my robot vacuum is taking off. Story of my life. Anyways, so we have our onions here. And now how you make a pot roast or what you want to put in it is entirely up to you. But I traditionally, I've already rinsed these potatoes out. These are small potatoes. If you want to get big potatoes and cut them up, well, but for time-saving purposes, and I love these bags because they're perforated, and you can just run water through them, and it's great. So these have already been washed. So these are called nibbles. You've probably seen them in the grocery store. The world's smallest gourmet potato. And it already says it's triple washed, but I still wash it. And here are these nice little golden potatoes. A lot of flavor. All right, so I've got onion potatoes, or what I call stew mirepoix. Mirepoix is a French term. It can mean certain things, but in culinary school and cooking, it refers to carrots, celery, and onion. So 50% onion, 25% carrot, and 25% celery. It's a base for a lot of dishes and a lot of sauces. So, and then I have my carrots. These are just baby carrots. Again, this is time saver. Instead of chopping up carrots, unless you have some carrots in the fridge that are about to not be edible, I'm going to buy about half this bag, not the full bag. And these are rinsed as well. Looks like they're still dripping. So there's some of our stew? I don't know. Anyways, and then I have white mushrooms. Again, this is just something I add. It gives it kind of that umami flavor. Okay. So we're gonna, and this is all prepping. I'm not gonna start this yet. It's 7:20 a.m. If I start it now, it's gonna be mush by dinner time. So we don't want that. So I'm gonna take some minced garlic, fresh. What I like to do is keep the lid, that inner lid in. First, I want to get some garlic juice in there, and then let some just kind of play in there, just enough to keep the vampires away. And then I'm going to put in. Now I stuck by McCormick for years. When I don't have time to like pre-make my stew seasoning mix, I used to use McCormick for years. Now I use Kinder's Grandpa's beef stew. Even though this is a pot roast, but again, I'm not going to add this yet. But I will salt the vegetables just a bit. So, if you want to add celery, add celery. You know, if you want to add anything, really. I mean, a lot of things would be good additions to this. If you like parsnips, if you like rutabaga, turnips. I love root vegetables. I could survive off of them. So this is our base right now. Okay, and that's pretty much. I had a runaway potato. So we're gonna let the pot roast, the chuck roast, be vacuum sealed in the fridge for at least 3 hours. I'm probably gonna do it for 4, and then I'm going to a family member's house and teaching them how to make cheese. They've never done it, and they like my cheese, so they want to learn how to make it themselves. And let that sit. Once I've let it marinate in the vacuum sealer for about 3 to 4 hours, then I take it out. And then I sear. I take a cast iron pan, get it really hot, whether it's on your grill or stove, get it super blazing hot, and then sear both sides, okay? And what that does is number one, it locks in moisture and flavor, because the moisture is going to be a problem because it's going to be a liquid. But it sears in flavor, it caramelizes the sugars on the outside of the steak, and adds more flavor. You get that caramelized, nice, really sought after steak flavor. So that will be next. And since it's already seasoned, at that point, you don't need to season it again. And then just throw it on top of the vegetables. And about halfway through, you can, flip it over with the sink at the bottom. But by that point, it's probably started to, the fats and the sinewy parts have started to melt away, and meat just starts to separate on its own. So you don't have to cut this up prior, and I would not. Beef stew, when people go to the store and they buy beef stew meat, and it's already all chopped and ready to go, you're kind of biting yourself in the butt. You're going to lose a lot of that steak flavor. If you're going to do that, again, searing hot cast iron skillet, and just brown the outside of those chopped up pot roast pieces of beef. Again, it's going to lock in flavor instead of just going into the liquid, and you'll lose a lot of that. So when you bite into that piece of beef in that stew or that roast, you just it tastes like everything else in the pot roast. All those flavors tend to meld together, especially when it's been overcooked, which is a problem with people using slow cookers, is they just let it go too long usually. Taste as you cook. Taste. Don't wait to the end and go, shit, I screwed up somewhere. Test it every couple hours. The pot roast. Just, go, that's good. That's good. And then once you go, man, that's really good, stop. Take it off the heat, turn it off. You're done, okay? And don't go, oh, my guests are coming in 2 hours. Take it off the heat, okay? And if you have to, reheat it. But once it's reached its peak of flavor, just stop cooking it, okay? And then sometimes it is hard to judge, okay, how long is this going to take before I have dinner guests coming over at 5:30, when should I? And just sit down and do the math. It's not hard, okay? It takes a little bit of planning, but, and there's ways to make a dish like this quickly. Now that with things like Instant Pots and things like that, you can make it fast and still make it taste good. I'm an old school guy. I like to do it the old school way, slow and low. I'm going to put this in a slow cooker on low. I'm not going to probably put it on until about noon, because we generally don't eat till about 5:30. And I do actually have dinner guests coming tonight. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming tonight. So this is gonna be enough for 5 people. Granted, 2 of them don't eat very much because they're little. So yeah, that's it. Once that beef is done and you've seared it, let it cool a little bit, just like room temperature, maybe a little above. Throw everything in the pot. Throw in your water. If you want to put beer in there as well, make it as a nice flavor, or wine, and put in your seasoning mix. Before you put the steak in, put in your water, beer, wine, whatever you're gonna add. Stir so that the seasoning mix is evenly distributed, and put in the steak, and put it on there. And there you go. And a couple hours, 4 to 5 on low, maybe 3 to 4 on high. You're gonna have a great meal. Next.